This is an example of an end state for a market. So if I'll zoom in here real quick, a market has been established with, you can see kind of lightly, there's a boundary drawn around this area to establish the market area. And then within that market area, we've got different vendor locations in here. Within those vendor locations, there are some 3D models that represent what is being sold by the vendor. We've also got some billboard images that can also demonstrate what a vendor is selling. I'm going to turn on these labels here so that we can kind of see the names of the vendors as well. So if I zoom in here, I can see, hey, this is the vendor location for Hazel's Farm Fresh Fair. This is for Piedmont Farms here. This one is for Dynamite Cookies. And so the vendor can choose what image they want to use to demonstrate or give customers a glance at what they may be selling. I can also, what I can do is if I click and hold or double click, it'll open up. This is an example of a market and what they could be selling, so that really quickly from a customer perspective, not only will you be able to look, glance at a map and see, okay, what could the vendors be selling, whether it's a photo or 3D models, but we can also open up by selecting on a market to see what they could be selling to, the prices, if the vendor wanted to list the price as well. Over here on the right, we've got a QR button. If you click on that QR button, it'll generate a QR code. This is a code that you could share with different customers. I'm zoomed in into one of the models here. So this is actually a custom model using some relatively new technology called Gaussian splatting. What that does is it allows anybody that has a phone to be able to take multiple pictures with their phone, and with AI, it puts it together into a 3D model. So let's walk through setting up a market. In order to do that, you need to have an account first, which is free. You just click on the sign up and sign up for an account. Then you'll have an option to set up a market. The first thing you need to do is find the market location. I'm going to put St. Paul, Minnesota here. And that's going to zoom us into St. Paul location so that I can find where I want to have my market. Let's say that this green space over here is where I want to have my market. So I'm going to zoom in over here. The next thing I need to do is establish a market boundary. So I'm going to draw that market boundary by clicking on the points where the market boundary is, and then I'm going to right click to end it. There's my market boundary there. I need to name my market. I'm going to name this St. Paul. Next, I'm going to draw some boundaries for the vendors. So this is where I can assign vendors to have a vendor location. So I'm going to name this V1. I'm going to give it a color, and you can have one to many vendor locations. So I'm going to add another vendor location over here. Give that a name and a color. Next up, I can place 3D objects. So I'm going to click next over here. I'm going to place this Gaussian splat that I scanned with my phone. So it's some pumpkin and some squashes, and there it is right there. So I'm going to zoom in so we can see that better. Some pumpkins and gourds there. So I'm going to click next to finish my market. And there we have it. So now we have a link to a market. If I wanted to, I can come back over here. If I wanted to add some more 3D models, I could do that. Let's just add a banana here. I can save that. I can also zoom in. This is a demonstration of the vendor management. As a vendor, I can come in here, I can manage my profile, I can go into my products and add different products that I'm going to be selling at different markets. Over here, that's still need to be implemented as a place where they can see what markets they have, what invitations and markets they have, notifications, and of course, if people have left them reviews, they can see reviews that people have left for them. Once you place a model, another thing you can do is click on it, which will highlight it, and you can scale it out up and down by pressing the up button or the plus button to make it bigger, subtract button to make it smaller. You can rotate it by doing the greater than or less than sign to rotate it up or down. You can also move the pumpkin in different directions by using the arrows. And then also the Z axis, you can press page up or press page down to move the pumpkin. So if you wanted it in the air, you can put it in the air. And let's go ahead and save this. This is an example of what a map looks like on a phone. So for example, a customer comes to a market, scans a QR code so they can navigate it, or they can scan the map ahead of time. So I'm going to zoom in here by pinching in. There's a lot going on. If I wanted to, I could hide different labels or the models if I wanted to, but it's also valuable over here if I zoom in more to get a first person perspective. So over here, I can see this market selling some pumpkins. I can see the names of the different vendors. I can see over here, there's a tent. This is what an ATM machine is supposed to be over here. There's some tables over here, but just giving you an idea of what it's like to navigate the map on a phone.